Well, blow me down. There's another Popeye horror movie, and we're going to talk about it today. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing another Popeye horror movie called Shiver Me Timbers. It's a spoiler-free review, so don't worry, although I really don't think this is the kind of movie that you really need to worry about spoilage. It's really just go for the ride, you know? Buy the ticket, go for the ride, you get what you get. But Shiver Me Timbers is another movie in a series of Popeye movies because of the licensing. It is now public domain, and people can make Popeye movies just like they've been making Winnie the Pooh movies and all of the characters of like Peter Pan and all this other stuff. This is another UK production, but not the same people. Actually, it's an entirely different group. So I don't know. I need to go down the Pooh movies, by the way, because I kind of skipped over them a little bit. And these got me kind of in the spirit of wanting to watch those movies. So, you know, maybe we'll go through them if you guys want me to. But back to Shiver Me Timbers. Shiver Me Timbers is the second movie I've seen. The first one I watched was Popeye the Slayer Man, which opts for a prosthetic looking Popeye that they built around a character or person and make him look like Popeye with the huge fucking arms and face and everything. And it was actually pretty gory and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. You know, these are the kind of movies that you just kind of go in expecting what you get. Shiver Me Timbers is very much the same, but I feel like this one had a much lower budget than that other movie because there is a lot of things that they did in this movie that I'll talk about here in a little bit where you know, cut some costs. Now, the story of this is about a group of kids in 1986 that are heading somewhere in California to the ocean to watch this meteor shower that's once in a lifetime, and on the way they bump into a character, an old man with a pipe in his mouth. I wonder who that could be.
Well, blow me down. You here for the meteor shower?
Are you a sailor?
I am what I am, and that's all I am.
Just that alone, that intro, had me laughing my ass off just to see how the tone of this film would be. But don't worry, that's not the guy that's going to be attacking everybody, because eventually the meteor shower happens and one of the meteors falls into the pipe of Popeye. He starts shivering his timbers pretty heavily and turns into a bloodthirsty, unstoppable killing machine. Now, they opt for some CGI in the face in this movie a lot, so they use a regular guy, hunky, beefy, you know, kind of regular guy, no big forearms, and just put a pipe in his mouth, do some weird imposed CGI on his face, which I gotta say, you know, it looks a little creepy, you know, like the blood gets on his eyes and his eyes are pitch black in some moments, and it looks unsettling just to look at. So, I mean, I can't hate it, you know, but I don't know if I love it. Now, this is directed by Paul Stephen Mann. This is their first feature film. They've never done a feature film before. And I think it's a pretty competent film. You know, it's not one that I would love to watch all the time, but I still enjoyed my time here. It is a weird, silly Popeye movie. I will say that the beginning of the movie was much funnier and I had much more laughs. Inadvertently or advertently, because it's considered a comedy horror movie in this one. I think it was more so bad it's good in this one. I laughed a lot more in the beginning. I liked the beginning and the setup of everything. I like the idea that this meteorite falls into Popeye's pipe and turns him into a bloodthirsty monster, which is kind of great. But I also was kind of hoping for a better looking Popeye. The gore in this film, I will say up front, is definitely practical, but they do a lot of CGI to kind of fill in the blanks. There's nothing that's like happening in camera. They just show you as it's happened or it already happened, just not in that moment, you know, on a lower budget scale than the last movie I saw. And I think the last movie does it better justice as far as gore than this one did. But again, you know, they're working with a different budget to basically start something new, obviously more than Shiver Me Timbers, but you know, it is what it is. I still think it's a fun movie. You have Olive Oil, this girl who is a character in the movie who's going to college, and she and her brother are going out with her friends, and then they bump into Popeye, who's this random character, and he starts, you know, taking care of business. As like crazed meteorite smoking Popeye would, I guess. But one of the guys in the movie does a lot of like John Hughes quotes. They do some Evil Dead nods, some, you know, random things in the movie. It kind of turns into some pretty schlocky stuff by the end of the movie. If you remember me doing the reviews of those Lovecraft films, it kind of has sort of that vibe to it a little bit. But I thought it was pretty funny. You know, there's a couple of moments in the movie where they're like there's some drug usage and like, you know, some weird sexy dancing. It seems to go on for a little bit too long, but fortunately this movie is only about an hour and 13 minutes long, so you don't have to like wait around forever. But even this movie felt a little long in the tooth. That's okay. You know, it went on for a little too long, but you know, it's hard to fill in those gaps a little bit. Some of the deaths were a little silly. I didn't really love them. So I have to mark this one a little bit below the other movie, but I still enjoyed it. And I think if you know what to expect going in, you will have an infinitely better time. And it was just like the other movie. Just enjoy it for what it is. Look at the weird Popeye CGI man face and just go, what the fuck? And have a good time. You know, that's really what you're in for. But, you know, that said, for those who are super picky about their schlock, which is kind of, I guess there are layers of fine cheese. But yeah, if you like So Bad It's Good, cheesy, schlocky, silly, not so great films, this is still on the enjoyable side. I would say about a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10 on this one. And yes, that 5.5 is definitely a sliding scale So Bad It's Good. No, it's definitely not going to be like other films. But yeah, this is just what I think. There's a third one out there somewhere. So acting, not stellar, still watchable, still fully understandable. I didn't really love any of the characters in the movie, but they all pretty much get, you know, boiled down into some pipe, you know, at the end of the day. So there's a lot of blood. You don't really see how the blood is happening a lot of times, except for like maybe 2 scenes, one that's like completely CGI and one that is like a nod to, I think, like Jason. There's a kind of a Jason tent scene that was in one of the movies. I won't say which. Like I said, it's a 5.5, maybe a 6 out of 10. Nothing blowing your mind here. I still had a good time. It's very self-aware of itself. It just kind of gets a little bit more boring towards the end of the movie. And the way some people die, and the end of this movie, that's what kind of took the number down a little bit. But I still enjoyed most of my adventures, so it's another Popeye movie. Take it for what it is. If you want to check out this movie, all you have to do is go to digital online store and look for Shiver Me Timbers. It's like $5.99. You might want to wait till the price comes down a little bit, but if you're super curious, it's up now. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for coming by and enjoying these videos that I make for you. If you only knew how hard it was for me to make some of these, I just want you to know I greatly appreciate you watching these to the end. When you do, it helps the algorithm so more people watch videos. It really does mean and make a lot of difference to me. So thank you guys. Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section down below. Thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.